Today's topic is points to ponder in contracts with the government entities. Since we are venturing into ADR, as far as arbitration is concerned, government is the major contributor for the arbitration cases in India. That is the government contracts. If you look at all the major landmark judgments, that would have been arised out of government contracts. So it is essential to know some basics about government contracts. So who are the major government entities that are entering into contracts? Indian Railways, and then Military Engineering Services, Air India, Central Public Works Department and State Public Works Department, public sector undertakings like National Thermal Power Corporation, HPCL, BPCL, Indian Oil Corporation, etc., etc. So out of the total GDP, government contracts, they form 10%. So that shows the significant contribution of government contracts. And it implies the opportunities for us also. So therefore, we must know the nitty-gritties of government contracts and what are the essential things we must know about government contracts. So we all know what are the valid ingredients of contracts. But in addition to that, when you enter into government contracts, they should comply Article 299 and Article 300. So Article 299, you all may know that all contracts made in the exercise of executive power of the union or state shall be expressed to be made by the president or by the governor of the state, as the case may be. So this is very, very valid point. And in our experience, there are several contracts that have become invalidated because of this one particular point, because of the non-compliance to this. We will see in the subsequent slides on there. And next point is all such contracts must be executed by the authorized person, not by some X or Y. Otherwise also the contract will become invalidated. So these 2 points we must remember. Mostly as a lawyer, you may receive contracts for the review by any contractor. He may be a contractor of CPWD or National Highway Authority of India. He will give you the contract to review it. So we must know what are the things we must look at, in addition to whatever we learned in the Indian Contract Act. So there is a case law, KP Chowdhury versus State of Madhya Pradesh. So this is the major landmark judgment. It stipulated, the contract, the valid government contract, it shall comply with the Article 299 of the Indian Constitution. Also, you might have heard about the implied contract. In private contracts, there may be absence of any written contract, but the party he might have executed. So out of the performance of the contract, we will imply that there is a presence of contract. But in case of government contract, it is not so. It should comply with the Article 299. It should have been expressed in terms of the president or the governor as per the case, whether it is a central government or state government. So that compliance is mandatory. We cannot forego that. So that is what this case law says. Therefore, the position resulting from Article 299 is that government contracts must be expressed as to be made by the president or governor. They shall be executed by the competent person and in the prescribed manner. This is also very, very important. Suppose if a contractor, he received contract from CPWD, and it is in the name of the president. But the performance, if it is by some junior level engineer, then there is a dispute that will not stand in the court. That should be performed by the prescribed person or the competent person mentioned in the contract. So that is very important. So the parties, they should be aware of it. So when you are reviewing the contract, you must educate the party. And regarding restitution and a quasi-contract, you might have remembered Section 65 and Section 70 of Indian Contract Act. There are few sections of the Indian Contract Act we will frequently refer during the arbitrations. Section 65, Section 70, and then Section 71, 72, 73. So these are the sections frequently referred, and we must be thorough about it. We must be thorough from all angles. Okay, coming back to the topic, we all know that non-compliance to Article 299 of the Indian Constitution, it will extricate the government for any non-performance or breach of contract, right? So in this case, what will happen? The officer executing the contract, he is personally liable for any damages that is claimed by the suffering party. On the other hand, the government, if it enjoys the benefit of the performance, in this case, the compensation should be based on the quantum merit basis. Quantum merit basis, it means whatever the quantum of work they have performed, that should be valued and that should be paid. So it is as per the Section 65 and the Section 70 of the Indian Contract Act. Another interesting thing is there is no estoppel in case of government contracts. Normally, we know that if somebody promises something, he cannot go back from his word. So that is the estoppel. But in case of government contracts, it is not so. No estoppel against the government if the government nullifies a contract due to non-compliance of Article 299. That means if the contract is not in the prescribed form, then it is nullified. You cannot say that, no, we performed the contract, so we are entitled for any payment and all. So there is no estoppel. We must keep in mind. So there is a case law, Ramanatha versus State of Kerala. There is no question of estoppel or ratification. Article 299 cannot be bypassed by invoking the doctrine of estoppel in case of government contracts. So this is another vital point we must remember. And there are certain contracts, even on the government side, they are called statutory contracts. You all might remember there are some statutory companies, the government side, like Air India and all, that are created out of statutory requirements of the parliament. So whatever the contracts entered under these entities, Article 299 does not apply. There is a case law, Ramana Dayaram Shetty versus International Airport Authority. So in this case law only, it was determined that Article 299 does not apply to a statutory contract. Why? There is a reason, because these entities, statutory entities, they may not have as many suppliers, vendors, or contractors as in case of any other projects, because they are all specific projects, special projects. Even in case of harbor construction, airport construction, they will not give it to any X or Y contractor. There will be a specialized contractor. They are all very complex in nature. Therefore, the contract itself they will have certain waiver, certain special terms. So they will not, naturally, they cannot comply with the Article 299. So this is a important point we should remember. And next thing is Article 226. We all know that constitutional remedy in case of breach. So whether Article 226 can be applied in case of breach of contract? No. So there is a case law. District Forest Officer versus Vishwanath Tea Company. So there is no claim under Article 226 in case of any breach of contract. Therefore, the remedy lies under civil court only in case of in the form of specific performance or damages. So that is the only remedy. We cannot seek relief under Article 226 for any breach in case of government contracts. Okay, so we all might have studied under Civil Procedure Code about the suits against government. So Article 300 of the Indian Constitution, it stipulates that the union or the state may sue or be sued if there is any breach in the contract. So it is covered under section 79 to 82, order 27 of the Civil Procedure Code of India. And the important point is it should adhere requirements under section 80, 81, order 27 of the CPC. What is that? Government must be given opportunity to consider the claims and settlement prior to go for any litigation. So if there is any opportunity for amicable settlement, that should be explored under section 80, 81. So that is what, that is the, we have to adhere this before going for any suit against the government. So